So, all right, let me get it that way. I think it's a long time. That's fine. I'm not gonna cry about it too much, but I think it's a long time. Oh yeah, that's what I saw, didn't I? Yeah. George R. R. Martin says he's. Oh yeah. George R. R. Martin says there are talks about making an Elden Ring movie. Good. But I remember hearing about this before, either an Elden Ring movie or an Elden Ring live action show. I remember hearing some of that too. A movie would be too little time, I think. I think they have to do probably a live action show, like a Game of Thrones sort of show, about Elden Ring, instead of trying to do a movie. A movie it'll have to be a very long movie. Like you probably need, you'd probably need a Snyder Cut style movie. But then what you got to do, because I saw a movie a few weeks ago called The Brutalist. Actually, a very good movie, crazy movie, deep movie too. But The Brutalist had a thing where in the middle of the movie they gave you a 15-minute break, and apparently that's old school stuff. So what they should do is that if they want to do an Elden Ring movie, that is going to be a movie that can cover, maybe not all. Let's say they cover up to Radahn, I suppose. But let's say they do an Elden Ring movie up to Radahn. If they want to properly do the world building, or at least as much as they could do for the world building for, then what they should do is that they should definitely have a long movie and then have a break in the middle of that movie, because that could be a truly good experience for a day. Like a 4-hour film, 20-minute break in the middle of that film, like part 1 and part 2. You mean an intermission? Yes, an intermission. Yes. It's actually the first time I've gone to a movie where they had an intermission in the movie. That was the first time it happened, and it was actually an experience. Like, because it was a long 3-hour, 30-minute movie, but it was a damn good movie. George R. R. Martin reveals there is some talk about making a movie out of Elden Ring, but there's one big obvious thing that could limit his involvement with it. IGN Fan Fest 2025. George R. R. Martin has issued the strongest tease yet an Elden Ring movie may come to pass, but has acknowledged a significant blocker to his potential involvement with it. I mean, if he's not going to be doing the Game of Thrones books anymore, or he's too scared, or whatever's going on with him in the books, then, I mean, you have time, my boy. I mean, the game's over. Even the DLC. The Game of Thrones creator famously dreamed up of the world and history from Software's Elden Ring, which went on to becoming one of the best-selling games of 2022. From Software and publisher Bandai Namco leaned heavily on Martin's involvement in promotional material. True, and the game credits begin by saying the Elden Ring world was created from software. I can't speak right now. Was created by From Software chief Hideki Miyazaki and George R. R. Martin. So would George R. R. Martin be interested in coming back for a sequel to Elden Ring? If he's asked, I should say. That's the question IGN put to the man himself as part of the IGN Fan Fest 2025. In his response, Martin sidestepped Elden Ring 2, but did drop a big hint that Elden Ring movie could be in the works. Well, I can't say too much about it, but there is some talks about making a movie out of Elden Ring, Martin said. Good. Speaking of movies, when is the paid movie recommendation post going live? Oh, you guys have? Oh, damn. I've been addicted to Marvel Rivals for a minute now, so I've been kind of delaying a few things to the Marvel Rivals. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. But I'm gonna probably say this week. Actually, time out. Let me see here. Because we could actually probably try on Monday. Because I do want to go back, and I do want to go back to the other one and then see what folks said about the shows. I haven't gotten back to the old posts to actually read their comments yet. But we can probably start this on the 24th, which is also the Mega Triticata Curry anniversary day. Very important day. A very, very important day. Very important day. Okay. This isn't the first time he teased an Elden Ring movie. And indeed, From Software president Hideki Miyazaki has said he'd be open to an adaptation of Elden Ring, of course. But only if a very strong partner were to come into play. I don't see any reason to deny another interpretation or adaptation of Elden Ring. A movie, for example, explained Miyazaki in an interview with The Guardian. But I don't think myself or From Software have the knowledge or ability to produce something in a different medium. So that's where a very strong partner would come into play. Continue Miyazaki. We'd have to build a lot of trust and agreement on whatever it is we're trying to achieve. But there's interest for sure. However, speaking on IGN, George R. R. Martin acknowledged that there may be a significant blocker to any heavy involvement he may have with Elden Ring movie. He's still working on the Winds of Winter. But how can he say this, yet he's like also hesitant on doing Winds of Winter? You know, like what was the quote again? Like, you know, people already have their minds made up, and you know, like I'm already old. I'm like, it's already been such a long time. It's like, wait, hello? Like George R. R. Martin and the Winds of Winter is like me and Hitsugaya sucks. We stall the fuck out of it, man. We are stalling beyond belief. We are going through every nook and cranny. We are trying to find any way possible to deviate from doing this. The difference between me and him, though, is that I will get it done. He will not get Winds of Winter done, apparently, which sucks. Yeah, I saw that from the ready. Yeah, I did. Bro, just give him the novel for the movie. Listen, as a From Software fan, as a huge fan of Elden Ring, it is my third favorite game of all time. I would definitely say focus on the movie, without a damn doubt. But Hayao Miyazaki has no plans on an Elden Ring sequel, allegedly. But, and yet at the same time, we have the Night Rain coming out. Right. But as a Game of Thrones fan, I do want to see the story complete because, in my opinion, if there is a way to complete Game of Thrones in the book, and maybe D&D already had some sort of sense of what Marvel was going to do in the books. The hope is that George R. R. Martin is going to do something different, but I have heard, and me and a few friends talked about it too, I have heard that a lot of folks are speculating that actually when D&D did, it's something that George R. R. Martin may have actually wanted to do with Arya and the Night King and so on. And then when he saw the backlash to that moment, he was like, "Oh shit, damn, you know what? Yo, I'm gonna be really walking it slow for the last lap for this mile. Yeah, walking it hella slow. So I could be case here too, possible." Not gonna lie, I think an anime would suit Elden Ring way better. For a way for better to tell the story with the visuals to match. Yeah, a live action would look more like a separate world rather than Elden Ring movie. The fact that Martin is considering anything other than that in the book as well, his fans. The problem is that, here's the reality of the matter, right? Anime, it is growing. It is still and it's getting to a lot bigger audiences. But more often than not, animation is not going to be for this type of material. Animation may not garner the same audience as live action, right? Particularly when you have someone that's already worked on Game of Thrones, or is the creator of Game of Thrones. When you think about Game of Thrones, you're not thinking about an animated series. You're thinking about live action Game of Thrones in the books. And I feel like because George R. R. Martin is tied with From Software and Elden Ring, it'd be kind of weird to have an animated series. That's what I think personally. I think people would want to, because you can definitely see a vision for a live action, medieval, supernatural style show. A live action, you definitely could. That's very, very possible. Game of Thrones proved that. It is absolutely, positively possible. But it's a commitment. It's one hell of a commitment. It's a Japanese produced product. You would think it would make a little sense. Kind of. But at the same time, Martin, I think, how did I say this? Game of Thrones is more popular than Dark Souls. at least at its peak, Game of Thrones at its peak, at its pinnacle, at its apex, and probably even the books too, are more popular than Dark Souls. And Elden Ring has a world that could, in many respects, parallel what Game of Thrones could replicate, or I guess do, but it can do so in a way more fantastical way. And I would argue that Game of Thrones was popular than 20 million. Yeah, but Game of Thrones at its peak was like the most popular show of all time or some shit like that. It was like Game of Thrones at its peak was insane how popular it was. It was disgusting. It was stupid. It was stupid how popular it was, bro. It made no sense. Like seasons 1 through 5 or 6 even when it was going on a downturn, Game of Thrones was still like the best show on HBO by far. It was a must-see, like everywhere. Like people were flocking to Game of Thrones in mass across the world. It was ridiculous how good it was. And so, maybe I'm wrong, but this is my bet here. This is my bet here. Let me just see here. Actually, let me just see if I'm capping or not. How... Game of Thrones, one of the most popular television shows of all time, with an average of more than 23 million Americans watching each episode in the last season. This is the last season when it was dog water, bro. The show had taken the world by storm and sold more than 90 million copies worldwide. That's just buying the show, right? Like, so in the last season, 23 million people pulled up when the season was ass. And that's just in America. Oh my God. I want cookies. I see this. Oh my God. Can I cut this short? No. All right, fine, whatever. I'm fucked. Viewers. Leaving with the Game of Thrones. So this is season 7. 10, 10, 10, 9, 9, 10, 10, 10, 12. Can we go back? What is this? Okay, I'm okay. Never mind. I'm getting tilted right now. Okay, I'm getting tilted. Remember. Okay. But yeah, so just trying to say here that I think people would gravitate a lot more towards a live action The Witcher / Game of Thrones style show, live action show for Elden Ring compared to an anime for Elden Ring. But I do understand what you're saying about, because it's a Japanese game, it make a lot more, make an anime make sense, which for sure it does. I'm not gonna deny that. But anime as a medium is not as popular as like doing a live action show. So especially if it's gonna be like a really, really good show. Or a very popular story, I should say. Where was I? Okay, so when's winter, that kind of shit. We'll see if that Elden Ring movie comes out to pass and what the extent of my involvement was. I don't know, he said. I'm a few years behind with my latest book, so that also limits the amount of things I can do, allegedly. Fans of George Martin, A Song of Ice and Fire, fantasy novels have long awaited the planned 6th entry into the series, The Winds of Winter. But after more than a decade of delays, even Martin is acknowledging the possibility that it may never... That's what I'm saying. In December, Martin said, unfortunately, I am 13 years late. Every time I say that, I'm like, how could I be 13 years late? I don't know. It just happened a day at a time. But that's still a priority, he continued. A lot of people are already writing obituaries for me. Oh, they're saying, oh, he'll never be finished. Maybe they're right. I don't know. I'm alive right now. I seem pretty vital. Fucking dude right here. It's only the latest in what's been an increasingly bleak wait for the Winds of Winter, with the most recent entry in the series, A Dance with Dragons, publishing in 2011. That's the same year the HBO premiered the instantly popular TV series Game of Thrones, which is based on the Song of Fire series and drew a lot more eyes than the world. Yeah, what the fuck? Yeah, that's what I just said. Than the world of Westeros. Yeah. Okay, sorry. Oh, no, sorry. Wrong thing. Then the world's restaurant. I'm getting things mixed up. Basically, I jumped on that one. Basically, he's been stalling for a minute now, okay? So if he's stalling for a minute now, the idea as a From Software fanboy is like, bro, if you don't really want to do this goddamn book, then shit you. That Elden Ring ecosystem could benefit from that name, sir. The name R.R. Martin. Wanna hop on over, big kid? Wanna hop on over, big boy? But that'd be kind of crazy if, like, okay, I'm gonna focus on Elden Ring movie, and then wait, where's the Winds of Winter? Where are the Winds of Winter? Where are the Winds of Winter? Where are the Winds of Winter? So that is the one issue that's gonna be if of course, not when, if this ever happens. That'll be an issue for sure, because people that are Game of Thrones fans that don't even know anything about From Software video games, let alone Elden Ring, are gonna be hella pissed that we're gonna have R. Martin working on on a whole new project when he hasn't even finished the Game of Thrones books, you know. And hold on, I'm the Game of Thrones books is not the last installment of the books. I think there's another book after that, right? Let me see here. Georgie. Wait, how many Game of Thrones books are there? Winds of Winter, and then A Dream of Spring. So there's 2 more books left that should be coming out. In theory, allegedly, on paper. The Winds of Winter and A Dream of Spring. Okay. Season 1 through 6 are some of the best episodes of TV history. That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, Game of Thrones at its peak was it was too good. It was must see television. It was must see. You had to. If you weren't, then you were an idiot. Okay. And the books are just legendary books. Like, R. Martin has the community by the balls in so many respects. And that's why his name brand would bring in so many viewers to a title like Elden Ring. And especially also if they had very, very big backers too. But my issue is that, again, they shouldn't do a movie. That's my main thing. They should probably do a show. A high production show. Not a movie. But we'll see. Cole buying time for his sweat glands to dry up ahead of what's to come. Of course. Listen, man. I'm not going to be doing that much movement today. Relax. Calm down. All right? I'm tired. I'm too tired today. Not enough movement. I mean, not too much motion today. We're good. Okay. So that's that.